Hey, good morning, everyone. And yeah, it's still morning.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bizchicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, strategy, and everything you need to build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And every Tuesday, we have the digital diva in the house. She's coming to talk to us all about your social media and digital marketing. So sit back, relax, get a pen and paper. It is time to learn some things that you will implement in your business. Coach TJ, all the way from New York City, welcome, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Well, maybe it's afternoon where you are. I'm not sure, but welcome to this. We do this every week, and we talk about marketing strategy, social media marketing. We talk about AI because that's a big part of marketing now. So, I try to figure out what we need to talk about that's current that you need to know, and I get all of that information from listening, from reading, from paying attention. I mix it up. I put my little what I know, my experience on it, and then we talk about it here. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Chat GPT and AI, and we've got to continue to talk about it because it has been integrated into a lot of things. So today, I wanted to talk about finding your voice, and what that is finding your brand voice. And that means it's just the way that you talk and write, especially online. So, ChatGPT and other generative AI tools, people are talking about, oh, they write content, they write this, they write that, but you may have seen a lot of the output or the responses or the results very generic. I've seen it because people will just copy and paste, and we talked about not copying and pasting right out of these tools, these generative AI tools, because you're going to sound like everybody else and you're going to sound like a robot. So you just wasted your time. And that's not what these tools are about. These tools are to shortcut the time of making content. It's not to replace you, the human. It's to say, the human being, the human us, we can, oh, now I don't have to sit and fuss and look at a blank piece of paper and go, what do I write? What do I say? What do I hear that all the time? What do I say? What do I do? And I'm like, your answer, your questions are answered now. They're answered. That's
Yes.
the only way I can put it, right?
Yep.
And if you've used it, let me know. Hey, Carlos, good morning.
Good
In the
morning,
chat,
Carlos.
let us know what if you're using AI and what tool. Let us know. But we talked about Canva, right? Which I think
Mhm.
is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Chat GPT is the top of the echelon. It's the top of the pyramid. All the other tools that you hear about, like Jasper AI, Copy AI, there's a bunch of those. They all use the engine that runs Chat GPT. They're using Chat GPT. And it may be an older version, but it's still Chat GPT. But if you want to say, like, you want to go to the original source, you go to Chat GPT, which is now AI.com, because they bought the domain. I think they spent
Uh-oh.
like a million. I think they spent like 11 million to buy it. I think we mentioned it on a
Wow.
Friday.
Wow.
They spent a million, 11 million, I believe, and they bought AI.com. So now you don't have to remember that long
Open
URL.
AI, whatever we were doing before.
AI.com. That's it. Carlos says that was dumb. Well,
It just, I mean, for their brand,
yes, for
it,
in a branding perspective, this makes sense. It's a little bit more than, sure, it's more than they wanted to spend. I'm for sure
yeah.
they didn't want to spend 11. Who wants to spend 11 million? But if you're everybody's saying Chat GPT, and the next thing is people go, well, where do I find it? And then they put this long URL. Well, you spent $11 million, which to them they write it off anyway. So, um,
And it makes sense because if you want, if like you said, if somebody asks where's Chat GPT, if you said go to open.ai blah blah blah, you're gonna be
ain't
like, am I
nobody
in
doing
the
it.
right neighborhood? You don't
Ain't
know.
nobody doing that.
but
This is rule number one with business. When you're buying a domain, you want the simplest one. Yahoo.com, Google.com,
right,
Open.com, AI.com. And if they cost them $11 million, then the person that bought AI.com, whenever they bought it, I think it was 10 years ago they bought it. I think I looked it up in the 90s. No, maybe the 2000s. Whenever the person that owned it bought it for, let's say, $8.99, or maybe let's be fair and say maybe they spent $25. That I wouldn't see them spending more than that. Let's say between 8 and 25.
right.
They just got $11 million.
And now this is going to spark the domain sitting wars again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You buy a domain and hold it and sit on it for a minute.
This is why when Twitter first started, people that got the I think the Jack Dorsey, his is @Jack. His is not Jack 357 in the mix, blah blah. Whatever that stuff you got to do
Right.
to get a username. That's why I always say when there's a new platform, go and get your squat on your username, your brand name, because
Right.
you don't have to use it right away, but you've got it when it comes due. I think I said that about TikTok before the pandemic. Was
Yeah,
go
you
over
did.
there, yeah, go over there and get your brand name. This was before the pandemic. We said that. And I said, because you're going to want it. So here we are, 3 years later after the pandemic. Aren't you glad that that you not bought, but you signed up with your domain?
Right.
I mean, your brand name, not domain, your brand name over on TikTok. So now if you're ready 3 years later, I mean, it's still, you can still use it. We talked about the political side of it, but if you want to use it, go ahead. But, if you signed up 3 years ago or before the pandemic, you're good. But if you didn't, you have to go, well, okay, my brand is I always think about plants, succulent plants. And now I can't use succulent plants because somebody took it. So now I gotta be this something different on TikTok when I'm that on everything else. Do you see how that is? So this is what we're talking about with this AI.com, which is a part of your brand voice, because this is a part of branding.
Yeah.
I'm McDonald's worldwide. I'm Nike worldwide. I'm Apple worldwide. Right? I'm
Yep.
not Apple 3657 exclamation point underscore
Uh-uh.
on this planet, on this platform on this platform, and over on Instagram, I'm Apple. No, you're just Apple. So
Yep.
see, this is a part of the AI. And I'm like, if they've got the money, why not? Microsoft gave them what? A couple billion? Was it 10 billion? So they got the money and they're gonna write it off. So there you go. But that's a part of your branding, because you want it to be less, you want it to be a couple of words or a word if you're lucky. Like I said, Nike, McDonald's, Apple, P&G. I'm trying to think of some others that are one word. Dunkin'. Here's an example. Dunkin' Donuts was Dunkin' Donuts. Now they're just Dunkin'.
Right.
One word. Easy to remember. Flows off the tongue. I don't have to remember Dunkin' 3657 exclamation point underscore because Dunkin' was taken.
Right. And then you lose credibility when you got underscore and
Don't
all
do
of
that.
that. I'm like,
Don't do
I
that.
can't trust that.
Don't do that, because people gonna say here's an example. You're gonna go on a podcast, you're gonna go on an Instagram live or a live somewhere, and they're gonna say, "What can we reach you?" Well, on Instagram, it's Apple3675 underscore exclamation point, and on Facebook, it's Apple 26. No,
Don't do that.
you already lost them. Because one, if it's a podcast, they're listening. I'm
And
not
I'm not
gonna.
writing that down.
I'm not gonna remember that. I'm not gonna write it down. See, you're expecting your audience to do something that, well, it's not hard to write it down. No, no,
I gotta
no.
use my brain cells for other things, not to figure
Apple,
out your
Google,
language.
Yahoo, Microsoft. Why do those names flow off the tongue? Because they're one words, not because they're big brands. They became big brands because they was one word things.
Yep.
So just the thing about the AI.com. So I thought,
Mm.
personally, I thought it was a good move. It's not, it hurt the pockets, but they got the money. So
Look, they just invested a few billion in anyway.
they're gonna write it off. That's a write off. That's a write off. So to us, it sounds like a lot. To them, they're like, yeah, we gonna make it 11 million in like 10 minutes with Chat GPT. All right, so enough of that. So um your brand voice, very important. So you got the name and now your voice. It's just simply how you talk and write online. And it's not, and I, like I said, I've seen a lot of copy, especially on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, oh, y'all just Chat GPTing it up, huh? You just having fun with this thing. Lots of big words that they never use, and you can tell because if you go back, say pre-November 2022, and look at their content, and then look at it after, and you're going, that's Chat GPT. Not that I'm putting them down. I'm just saying that you're not supposed to straight copy and paste because you're going to sound like everybody else that use
Yes.
Chat GPT. So you got to find your brand voice. So remember that. And I like to call Chat GPT, I call it a pet. It's a pet. The tool, you got to train it. So when you have a
Yeah.
dog, what do you have to do?
Train it.
When you have a cat, well, you can
Okay. Okay.
try,
You could.
but it's hard.
You can get the cat to walk on a leash. You're doing good.
Cat be like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I might do that. I might not. And it makes a difference if you have a treat in your hand. So Chat GPT is a pet. The treat is the prompt. You got a good treat, you're going to be more successful teaching them rollover and this and that and all the wonderful things you see in the pet circus when they have, and you see the animals do all the jumping over fire and jumping. They had to train the pet to do that. And how do they do it? With rewards and treats,
Yep.
right?
Carlos said, I'm too lazy. Copy and paste. Sue me.
No, I'm saying that's, if you want to do that, that's fine. The people that are doing it is fine. It's just that your audience, there's going to be a couple of, maybe later in the year, regular people going to be like, that's just Chat GPT, because it sounds repetitive because you're asking it generic prompts or generic thing. Give me a book about blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's not how you want to use this tool effectively, because you want to use this tool to shorten your time of creating content that what attracts your target audience. And if
Mm-hmm.
you start talking like a robot after years of talking like a real person, and then you start talking like a robot with your content, and people going, what the hell? The hell?
What happened? Did the Stepford wives get? Okay.
What the hell? So I hear a lot, and I go around different places and I hear the conversation, especially because this is the hot thing. I listen to and I read and see what people are saying. A lot of people are like, what's so good about Chat GPT? Because it just gives out generic, bland stuff. And I'm like, yes, it does. Because you didn't put your order in correctly. So if you go to a restaurant, 5-star restaurant, and you go, well, what's the hype about this restaurant? You go to here in New York, you go to Tribeca, or you go downtown or whatever, Houston or whatever, and there's the hot new restaurant, and you get in there, everybody's raving about it. You get in there and you get, you give your order, and maybe it's in a French restaurant or whatever, and you don't pay attention, and you just, well, give me that, and they bring out a plate of boiled potatoes. I could boil potatoes at my house. What's so good about this restaurant? Well, you didn't order correctly. You didn't get the, whatever that's on there, the specialty that's on that menu that everybody knows the order. See, that's how it works. So you're going to Chat GPT and going, give me, you ordered boiled potatoes. Well, that's what you got, because you didn't know what you ordered. You didn't put it in the right format. So that's what I mean about Chat GPT being a pet, that you got to train it, and you have to say it correctly, and you have to tell, I want this. You have to be very specific.
Very specific.
Very, to get the maximum benefit. We're talking about maximum benefit. Just like I say, copy and paste. If you want to copy and paste, go ahead. I'm not copy and pasting. I'm going, I got an idea, I give it to ChatGPT, and they say, oh, try this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I go, oh, I like number three. Let me take number three and rework and refine it and work on it. And that doesn't take hours. That's minutes. Minutes. Because what you put in is going to get, oh, that's what you want? ChatGPT said, that's what you want? Oh, man, I'm going to give it to you because you asked it the right way. So, what we want to talk about with defining your brand voice is that you can use ChatGPT to do that, to talk in your voice as close as it can instead of sounding like what everybody asks it and the generic stuff that it gives, because they will just give it. Chat, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. It doesn't know what's in your brain yet.
It is it's not because people think it, well, it's not human. It can't reason. It can't.
Ones and zeros, people. Everything we're doing right now on the internet, everything, this lot, ones and zeros. When you break it down, it's binary. Binary. So you can't get mad with the thing and say, well, what good is it? I don't see what the hype is about. I've heard that. What's the hype about it? It gives out these generic sounding, or it gives out stuff that sounds like a term paper. It gives out, it gives out false information. I've seen that. It's giving me false information. And I go, oh, that's not right, ChatGPT. But that's me going, okay, I need a fact check. Most of it is good. 80% of it is good. There's that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. And I go and I fix it because I know that's not right. But see, that's a part of the process. You and ChatGPT are partners, and you want ChatGPT to do 80% of the work for you. Why? Because that's more time for you to run your business and think about scaling and new products and getting new customers and all that stuff you can work on. And you let the ChatGPT is the sewing machine. You let it back. It's back there sewing instead of you hand stitching all your content. Remember that now you've got the sewing machine. So you just it's done. It's a pillow. It's a this. It's a that. That's what it is. Okay, but I'm bringing up this because I want you to think about how you can teach it to sound like you as close as possible, and that's doable. Has anybody come across that? Like you seeing AI give you generic stuff, and you're going, I don't like this.
Again, it goes back to what you said about prompts. If you ask generically, you're going to get generically. Mm-hmm. And so I've been playing with it for real estate, but I've been very, very selective, putting in the details that I want to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it popped out things. And then when I'm like, that's not quite what I'm looking for. And I'll change it to what I want. But
Right. Hey, Dr. Tachi.
And Linda said, I don't know how to do it. It doesn't sound like me at all.
Exactly. It doesn't. Because it's not. It's ones. It's binary. It's code.
So Linda does herbs. Mm-hmm. I think it's rosemary, if I'm not mistaken. So how would she use the chat for her?
Okay, yeah, there's lots of ways to do it, but I'm going to give you the idea. You tell it, write this. You tell it, I am a garden. I am a not horticulture. I'm a gardener. I'm trying to think of it. You're a gardener. You're a plant specialist. You're a something specialist. I'm a whatever expert. Write me a blog post, an article, social media, whatever, in the voice of that expert, and it will do it.
Right. And then she says, I am a container gardener.
Okay, so now let's take that back, because ChatGPT is ones and zeros and may not know what that is. So that's why I say gardener, or farmer. You could say I'm an herb farmer. Here you go. I'm an herb farmer.
Now you're going to get some kind of herbs. You're going to get some other herbs. So you got to be very specific about which herbs.
So I wouldn't say that. I would say start with gardener, start with farmer, and then see what it gives you. And then say, okay, I need to refine it. I'm a special kind of farmer. I'm a sustainable farmer. There's different types. This is where you go to Google and do a little search, because if it ain't on the internet, it's not going to know what it is. So I would say I am an expert in blank, or I'm a expert. Write me a blank, whatever it is you want, a newsletter, an email sequence, a course, a this, a that, whatever, fill in the blank, write me, and it does it.
And
So,
then you kind of massage and tweak it so that it sounds more like the way you would say something.
right. And that will get you closer to what you want. Right. So that's a way to do it. And then I've seen prompts, and that's why I think I put on my story something about a prompt engine. There's something called a prompt engineer. Let me see. And there was a story about the prompt engineer is making 300,000 a year writing prompts.
Wow.
Let me see if I can find it. I put it on my stories. It probably went away. Yeah, here it is. Someone with a hacker spirit can earn over $300,000 for a new kind of job centered around Chat GP like assistance. It's a prompt engineer librarian, and I didn't read the whole story. I just did like a screenshot of it. What that is, a prompt engineer, prompt librarian, or whatever, is the person that knows what to write and give it to ChatGPT and ChatGPT, and you get what you want exactly. So remember I said about going to the restaurant and ordering a meal, you get boiled potato, but you wanted lobster or something else, and you didn't know how to say it. This is it. This is it. So prompt engineering, and I've seen it. It's not write me a blog post about blah blah blah. The engineering is like a whole like 6 paragraphs of a description of do this, don't do that, don't give me this, don't give me that. And if you've used and play around with Mid Journey, DALL-E, any of the ones that do graphics, you know what I'm talking about. You got to put in that prompt. Okay, I want to give me a robot with rainbows and clouds, or a person holding a balloon, but you got to put more stuff in there. You got to tell it what style, what colors, the aspect ratio, the this, the that. Don't, and then you got to say, don't do this, don't do that. And the prompt is like 20 lines, but you get what you want at the end of that.
Right.
So this is the deal. Do you want to play around with ChatGPT and try to figure that stuff out? Or do you hire a prompt engineer or someone who knows, or take a course on someone who knows, or whatever that is, and you get what you want? See, the line between A and B, you want it to be as short as possible. So this is the thing I'm seeing people going, well, Chat GPT, what's so great about it? I'm like, you haven't really taken that screwdriver for a turn, have you? You just so and another thing about this is like, who has time for it? It's techie. It sounds like I don't understand it. It's George Jetson. Is I'm tired of hearing about it, blah, blah, blah. So you don't want to spend time on it. You want to spend time on other things. Carlos says blonde hair, blue eyes, long eyelashes, not too long, with broad shoulders, but not too fat. Also, make sure you use commas. So that's pretty much kind of like what you have to be very descriptive with this, especially with doing the images. I've seen it because I'm like, okay, I'm tired of it now, because you get in there and you refine it and you refine it, and you get sick of it, and then you step away. But the average person is not gonna have time for that, because they want to watch March Madness, they want to watch something on Netflix, they're concerned about the Oscars, or this. They're not concerned about that. So if you're not in the tech world, you're like, I don't really care about the ins and outs. I'm just gonna hire somebody to do that. So that's where we are. That's where it's going. And these people are getting lots of money. Now it's going to get to the point where the apps we use are going to do that for us. they're going to be able to look at all your previous content and say, okay, I know how you speak, your brand voice, your tone of voice, and here's your content. Boop. We're not there yet. We're going to get there. I don't know when. I can't give you a timetable, but we're going to get there. Because I said that they were going to put AI in your favorite app, and they did. Snapchat has it. You have to pay. Notion has it. You have to pay. A couple other things you have to pay. So,
And even Canva put it in there, but you have to have the Pro,
right,
Canva Pro,
right.
to use it.
Even the chat GPT is free, but it's slow. You know, you seeing it slow, or you can't get in, and what they want you to pay the $20 a month. So you have to think about it. Is this something that's worth paying? I say yes, but that's on you. There's other tools. If you have other tools, it's already in there. The Jasper AI, Copy AI, Word Hero is one that Mark talks about. I have that. There's a bunch of them. They already have it in there. But the thing is, how do I get the most value? This is what we're talking about. Getting the maximum value out of it. And you have to train it to give you what you want. It's just if you say do this, it's like, okay, boom, here's your boiled potatoes. But I wanted filet mignon. Well, you didn't ask for it. You didn't ask the waiter for it. You said, give me, whatever. And they said, okay, boiled potatoes. And you're like, what the hell? Carlos says, I'd rather pay for Disney Plus. See, there you go. So I'm telling you, now a lot of people are not going to be that involved in the process. I am, because I'm like, I am just loving this thing. I'm putting it through the paces because I'm like, okay, I got to bring this to you. I got to say, hey, get over in the Discord, because that's where I'm going to start putting stuff. No, it's not going to be out and about. It's going to be, okay, if you're in the Discord, you're going to say, blah, 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 blah. If you're not there, it's not going to happen. So, let's get back to this brand voice, because I want to talk more about that. Because why do you care? You don't want to sound like everyone else. You don't want to sound like your competition. You want to sound like you. Why? Because that's more attractive to an audience. Sounding like a human is more attractive than sounding like a robot. Agree? Can we all agree?
I agree with that. And I think, okay, because Linda, the old bird, has her own way of speaking,
right,
and her own way of presenting the content that she has. And you'll know it's her by the way she talks about the rosemary or whatever it is that she's talking about. I know
right,
that's her.
Right.
So when that's her brand voice. I know her voice. I know Dr. Tachi's voice in the content. You know what I mean? If somebody wrote something, I'm like, that ain't Dr. Tachi. Tachi don't talk like that.
Right. And we're not talking about hearing. It's more of a reading, because you followed them for a long time and you know their style. Are they funny? Are they sarcastic? Are they serious? Are they this? Are they that? So those are some of the things that you have to find out and give that to ChatGPT.
The style.
What's your style?
Yes.
Is it practical? Is it entertaining? Is it funny? Is it sarcastic? Is it professional? Is it casual? Is it this? Is it that? If you've seen if you do some of the tools that if you have like Word Hero and stuff like that, there's a tone of voice option, and it's different in different and let me bring up one so I can read the list off. But it's different on in different tools. And I hope this comes up, because sometimes it doesn't log in. I'm just going to read it off real quick, but I got to log in. So is there any questions about the voice? Does everybody understand why you need the brand voice? And it's not just because of Chat GPT. We always needed that. And you had it before. It's just that we're using a new tool that it's like, okay, I need it to sound like me. How do I do that? Okay, here's the tone. So it could be appreciative, assertive, casual, conversational, convincing, enthusiastic, exciting, formal, funny, informative, inspirational, passionate, positive, negative, sarcastic, urgent, witty. Those are some of the things. Those are some of the things that you can put in to Chat GPT. That's just a list from one of my apps. I think this is Word Hero. Yeah, that helps the AI say, "Oh, you don't want generic, you want special stuff." Yes, I do. Chat GPT. That would be nice.
Yes.
Um, Carlos says, "Oh, is he talking to Dr. Tachi?"
He's well, reading Dr. Tachi is, I don't know what that means because this is a PG.
RRR. What's the RRR called?
Right. Okay. uh, we're trying to keep it PG, Carlos.
I want to know what he means by the
I,
RRR.
I don't know. Carlos is.
So I mean, okay, so the just reading some of my notes that you want to craft the content with your tone of voice using a Chat GPT. It's giving out generic stuff. You're not happy with it. You go, what good is this thing? You throw the toy down and stomp away. And I'm like, no, go back and pick it up because you gotta fine tune it to say, I wanted to speak in the voice of. I wanted to give me content with these features, and I gave you a list. That was just one tool, but each tool has different things. So like think casual, funny, sarcastic. So here's an example. And if you followed Wendy's, or remember Wendy's and Popeyes, when Popeyes first came out with the sandwich, Wendy's, whoever's running their social media, they're like a snarky, sarcastic, like thing. So how all of this stuff came out with Popeyes and Wendy's with the chicken sandwich was that Wendy's, Popeye said something and Wendy's tweeted back, and they it was like watching. It was two brands talking online, but it was watching like a little fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like oh, and then I believe Chick-fil-A got in with it, and so that was kind of like the brand of the tone of voice. Like it wasn't just, oh well, we're when they're reading the news today, there's also the stock market, but it's not that. It's more like, okay, what is my tone of voice? Is it funny? Is it playful? Is it sarcastic? Is it angry? Is it mean? Is it old man, get off my lawn? Is it cute? Is it this? You have to figure that out.
And that's what Dr. Tachi, I mean, Carlos is saying
Oh,
Dr.
he's saying
Tachi is
it says
be
R.
more
Oh, okay, it's
Okay, I was like,
ER.
what? Okay.
You forgot the E. It's
Say,
ER. I was like, I was like, is that movie? RRR?
okay.
Like you
I'm
trying to
good
say that
now,
movie?
Carlos.
But that's what I mean by your brand voice. It's like, okay, here's another example. Do you remember if you used to go in? This is when I remember this when I was a kid. Used to go in the bank, and everybody had the same uniform on. I guess they still do. I haven't been in a bank in so long. Because you could just do it with your app. But everybody looked like they had the gray suit on or whatever. Or if you go to the hospital, everybody got the same scrubs or this or that. It's kind of like, okay, you knew when you go in the bank, it's professional because they dressed that way. They presented that self they were that way. So that's what I'm talking about, your brand voice. How are you presenting yourself? And I'm not saying that you got to make up a persona. You got to talk like I seen this a lot, like with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Right.
All these imitators are trying to, because they think that was the secret sauce. Well, it is for him, but not for you. Your secret sauce is how you talk. So
And
you
when
talk to people in that tone, not in copying somebody else's style.
and when you hear somebody else copying him, you're like, oh, you dude, no, you are not Gary V. You understand what I mean? And it leaves a bad taste.
Oh,
It,
you stick out like a store. It's like, dude, what are you
dude.
doing? It's that meme. I always come back to that meme with Steve Buscemi. Is saying hello kids, and he's got like a skateboarding, but he's like 60, and he's like no dude, you stand out. It's not attractive. It's
And
not
then
attractive. You have to find your style, and I think people are afraid of that because it's like, I don't know how I'm going to be perceived.
but see, if you got to be you, like Linda. Linda calls herself the old bird, and she works the room doing what she does, and you, it's very engaging.
Yes.
We don't need Linda to be okay. Now we're going to do. That's not how she acts
Right.
online.
Right. And another thinking of that just reminded me of Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart has a particular voice and style. Snoop Dogg has a particular voice and style based on who they are and what they do and what they like.
Right.
So you have to find your voice, and it's easy to do. I'm not talking about using chat GPT now. I'm talking about just, okay, how do I write? Do I like to make jokes? Do I like to be serious? Am I sarcastic? Am I this? Do I want to always be professional? And nothing wrong with any of those styles, those types. You just have to find the one that you like. And to do
Right.
that is, you can write more. Just write. It does. Well, what do I write? We're not in school anymore. There's not a term paper. There's not a thesis. There's not going to be a grading where they take that red pen. It's all good. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong answer here. So you decide. Do a podcast. Don't publish it if you don't like it, but just do it, because you're doing the voice. And when I mean podcast, I mean your phone, hit the voice thing and just start talking. If you're outside, when I used to walk in the mornings, I got to get back to it. I used to just talk into the mic and just thoughts and things like that. That gets you ready to figure out, how do I want my style to be? What is my style? I know that's a question. What is my style?
Right. And your style is you, I would say. The and like TJ was said, you don't have to morph into somebody else. Who are you? What do
Right.
you like? I like ice cream. I don't like spumoni. And
There
and
you go.
be just talk about what you like.
Make a list. Like, do's and likes and dislikes. Linda says, I'll come back for the replay. Thanks so much for teaching this today. Have a good one. Good vibes. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you.
So you notice how she says good vibes? I would
Mhm.
know her work or her content because she talks about good vibes.
Right. So if you have trouble with this, like, what is my style? You can do what I said. You write your likes and dislikes down, or you can ask a family member or your best friend, or you just, hey, what kind of style do you think you have? And they're gonna give you some words. Like that list that I had, professional, funny, weird. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're always telling jokes. You're always serious. You're always this. That's your list. That's your list." And then you go, okay, take 3 of those words that they give you, because they may give you more words, or you may discover more words. Take 3 of those. Those are your main, your style attributes, and work with that. Work with that. Is everybody getting this? Because I was like, I don't. We need to talk about it. Like, I want to make sure you get in it. Like, you understand what we're talking about.
I think they are because this is, and it's just a really good reminder.
Because it's not easy to figure it out, but these little tips that I'm giving you, this will get you on the right path, and then you'll be able to take that information and go into Chat GPT and get what you need, because you're a professional, because you're witty, because you're this, because you're that. Those are the words that you're going to give it. Write me a this and a that and a that. Now, why do you want to do that? Because finding your brand voice, essential aspect of creating a successful business, is what creates it keeps you apart from your competitors. It helps you connect to your audience. It's your personality, your tone of business. It's what people will remember you by. Just like I brought up the Wendy's and the Popeyes and the thing. I remember that Popeye sandwich was what, 5 years ago? When did it come out?
Yeah, it's been a while since
Yeah.
the chicken wars.
Yeah, the chicken wars. But I'll never forget that back and forth on Twitter. Because it was just like, brands didn't do that. Like, talk like a person. Like, this is a snarky person. This is a witty person. This is a this person. This is that. That's the social media team knowing their brand of voice, and they give it consistently every time. And then the audience that likes that, they're like, oh, Wendy's is gonna, because that's not the only thing that Wendy's has done. They've done lots of things. Like, I think one was like they retweeted. If you retweet somebody's tweet 100 something times, we'll give them free nuggets or something. And then they were retweeting that person's tweet, and it was just awesome. But this was when Twitter was great. Now it's not. I'm not gonna get into. But that's just some of the things you want to do. You want to have a unique identity, because it builds brand loyalty. Brand loyalty, it drives customers to you, it brings in new people. And what does all of that do? Sales.
Yep.
Sales. If you got
Yes.
the system set for it, which I hope you are, You've got the system set up for it. All you need is attention. How do you get the attention? Boom. That's all I'm saying. So this is a part of content creation. Um, Number two, your brand voice should reflect your business values, mission, and personality. It should convey your brand story, evoke emotions that resonate with your target audience. Because when you find your brand voice, you can create a consistent message across all your marketing channels. That's your platforms, website, social media, your email, your newsletter, whatever. So this consistency helps you build trust and build authority in your industry. Because people go, well, how do I build trust? How do I build brand authority? Content in your tone of voice, where you're giving out value, you're saying something, and you're consistently doing it. That's how it is. There's no trickery. You might go viral. That's good, but can't count on that. Don't count on that. If you don't go viral, then what? So is a part of this is always consistently building content that what brings in people to your target audience. You take them on the customer journey. You talk about things. You give them what they need, something of value. You use that CTA, call to action. Boom, there's a sale. If you've got your process set up correctly, you're not taking them through hoops. Put this in, do that. Your names of your children and all. Don't ask for all that stuff. Just get the sale, and then you can send them an email. Hey, you bought this. Remember this? Amazon does that all the time. If you leave something in the cart, Amazon emails you. If you looked at something, Amazon sends you an email. Hey, remember you like this? Or they go, hey, you bought this. You might like that. Why? Because they have your email, and if you're a Prime member, you definitely want to use it because you're like, I got Prime. I got free shit. I want to do some things with this. So there's a constant reminder. Amazon didn't let you buy stuff and they go, okay, bye. They don't do that.
No, they stick with you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we as business owners need to do. We need to stick with our clients. And it's not an intrusion because they asked for something from you. And sometimes we don't do that. Like somebody says, hey, I'm interested in da-da-da. And we do it one time, but then wasn't that you that told me about that? You talked about it a couple of Tuesdays ago about the lady. I mean, the real estate agent that kept calling the lady.
Yes. It was Ryan Serhant.
Serhant.
I think it's Ryan Sir. What the heck is that? Oh, that's you. I thought it was me. No, that is me. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Something's rattling.
Might be handling the streets again or something. Who knows?
Something's going on. I'm like, what the heck? It just scared me. I'm like, it's silent in here. Like, what is that? So, what were we talking about?
Ryan Serhant and
Serhant, I believe his name is Ryan Serhant. He's was he on a
$1 Million Listing?
Yes, he was on a TV show. I don't know him from that. I know him from YouTube. I don't know how I found him. And then I started watching his videos, and he's very engaging, and he tells stories about real estate in New York and how it is, and how he started, and I was just fascinated by it. So he tells that story. It's one of his old videos. I have to dig it up and maybe I'll post it. But he tells a story about when he first moved to New York, because he was from somewhere, and he moved to New York, and he was trying to be a hand model. And it didn't work out. And he said, well, I'll try real estate. And then he, talked about how he was doing the grind and how it began. And he met this lady in Starbucks with she had a baby in a stroller. And he just started talking to her, found out that she wanted to move, because they were having more kids or something, and she needed more space, and he was like, oh, here's my card. So he started emailing her, and she would respond in the beginning, but after that there was no response, but he kept sending her listings. I think he said it took 10 years. She bought like millions of dollars worth of real estate. Oh, is it me? I can't hear.
Yeah, because he kept doing the Amazon thing. hey, you said you were interested in this. Maybe you're interested in this. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe this will be of interest to you. And he kept sending it.
Right. Now, she might not have opened all of those emails. I'm probably sure she didn't. But 10 years later, when they were like, oh, it's cramped in here, we got to move, she was like, oh, I get these emails from Ryan. Let me go and look at the last one. Now, what if he had stopped sending them? She would have went with somebody else. She would have asked her friends, recommend real estate agent. She already had one in the pocket. He kept sending her emails because the email is nothing. If you're in business, that should be part of your budget. It's nothing. But he kept sending her listings. I'm like, you can't. I mean, how can you beat that? But most people give up, even with content. Oh, Instagram and the algorithm is not showing my content. Oh, here's the latest thing. Reels views are down. So what? So what? Were you using Reels for views? And I believe this, this is the influencer side of it. Yes, they use Reels for views. But the business owner go, hey, this is a free platform. And I can post in different places and reach people when they're ready. I'm top of mind. When they're ready to buy whatever it I have, they're going to say, hey, I follow so-and-so on Instagram. Let me go check them out. It's not an ATM machine. People are thinking it's an ATM. I go to the ATM, put my card, put my pin, and the money's just spews out right then and there. No, here's an example, Ryan Serhant. 10 years. He punched that card 10 years, and now the money's coming out. And it's lots of money. It's not $10. It's millions of dollars, which I'm pretty sure he's happy because in that 10 years, he's built up a clientele where he's gotten more money from other people. So this was like, my ship had come in. And all he did was send out emails, automated emails. Yeah.
So the ship came in because he put something out there.
But it's something he knew that she wanted or needed.
And he didn't stop. See,
and it's not that he knew. He didn't know. Crystal ball is like, hey, she might not. But I'm gonna move on and get more the client over here and the client. I'm gonna keep doing my business while this automated email sending out the latest listings keeps going out to people and it reaches them when they're ready. This is just one story. I've heard of other stories where people just sent out emails or did this or did that or reached out or text or whatever it was. They kept doing it until the person says stop, unsubscribe. If they're not saying that, keep giving to them. You never know when that customer is ready or they know somebody who is ready and you're top of mind.
So, and then she knew his voice by then too.
Carlos said spammed her to death till she bought. Well, she could have unsubscribed. She didn't.
Right. But how many emails? I still look at some emails that I'm interested to hear from that person.
Right.
And I just don't have time to read the email right now, but I'm interested to hear from that person.
At Gmail, if you had Gmail, it'll tell you haven't opened emails from this person in dog's years. Do you still want to be subscribed? I always say yes. I subscribe for a reason. Or the person says no, and guess what? That's what you call a cord that you let go. That's gone. Okay. Yes. But you got feelers out for everything, for everybody. That's one person. If she didn't buy, oh well, he's still a millionaire. He's still doing $1 million deals.
And if he's that consistent with one, and he's consistent like that with all of the others, something's going to pay off because he's still being consistent.
Right. And in real estate, you put the feelers out, you put the card out, you put the word out. The person isn't ready to buy when you meet them, right? They're never ready.
Mm-mm. You just want to be the one they think of when they are ready.
Top of mind. Why do you think they do the remember the buses and the seats, the bus stops? Why do you think they do that with their face? Why do you think they do that? Top of mind, visual. I need a house oh, I remember I saw that thing on the bus stop. Oh, I saw that thing on the this or that. Top of mind. It's just how much do they want to spend in their budget to be top of mind.
Right.
So
This is really good. Find your voice.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of it. Again, like I said, join my Discord. Let me put that up because that's where I'm gonna put more details about it. There's more details than what I gave you about with Chat GPT. There's a thing that you have to do. I'm still refining it, but when I have it, it's gonna be there. That's where I'm gonna put it and say, hey, come and get it. It's ready. Plug this in and get what you want. And I'm talking about content, bios. Think about your LinkedIn bio. Don't you want that to sound like you? Chat GPT can do that.
Right.
Again.
TerryJohnsonOnline.com/info. TerryJohnsonOnline.com/info. You need to follow her there. And
or just wherever you want. If you want to follow me on Instagram, go over everything is Terry Johnson Online. I'm not even talking about Twitter anymore. It's different over there. But if you want to follow me on social media, that's it.
Right.
And I'll put out the call and say, hey, this and this and that, whatever. Call to action. Click the link, and it's gonna take you where you need to go. So
yes, it shall.
But if you're in Discord, you might get a little special something.
We got treats in Discord.
Ooh. So it's a work in progress. Okay. So I mean, just think about how you if you're tired, and I said this before, if you're tired of Chat GPT, you're gonna be really exhausted. That thing they're gonna be talking about this thing. I don't know. It's like from horse and buggy to car. What was the process? Just think about that. That's where we are. Horse and buggy, the car. That's what this is.
The people who ride the horse and buggy was like, wait on the car.
They didn't see it. Yeah, they didn't see it. Why would you want a car? That thing is clunky. And remember, when the car came out, I think they had to crank it in the front or something.
They had to crank it, and it was exploding and all kind of stuff.
It made noise. It was dusty. They had to wear those little goggles with the coat over the color. And horse and buggy people was like, we don't get it. Why would you want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that ain't gonna last. That's not gonna last. And I love Prince, but I'm gonna bring this up. Prince said the internet was a fad. This was 1990 something. He said it. He said the internet was a fad.
And here we are.
Love you, Prince, but you were wrong. So we're gonna have horse and buggy people, and we're gonna have the new car people. So I just say, which one do you want to be? I want to be the new car people.
Yes, because let's be over here over this.
And nothing wrong with horse and buggy. We still have it. You can come to New York and do your little horse and buggy ride. It's not, we're not gonna get in the treatment of the animals and all. That's another story. But it's still there. It didn't go away. It's just. Carlos says, I love my typewriter. That's another one, the typewriter versus the computer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're still here.
Here we
are. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, everybody. Terry Johnson Online, you need to follow her everywhere. And if you want to become a part of the Bizchicks community, we appreciate you doing that. All you have to do is text Biz to 33777 or go to bizchicks.net. Hit the subscribe button because we are building a community over there on YouTube.
There you go.
So check us out. Come hang out with us. And let's do some things. Again, you can reach Terry at TJ at Terry Johnson Online and /info. So we will see you next week. We'll be right back here again with some more marketing genius to help us be really good with our digital marketing and our social media skills. So thank you, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to everybody. The comments, Carlos, Lyndon, Dr. Tachi, everybody that's watching a replay. Thank you guys. You could be anywhere else, and we're glad you're here with us.
Yes, we are. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.